another bang. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my scarred with a sweet one bliss. Someone flicks me a bag by it. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
What's good, people? Welcome into another episode of The Crossover. Today, I'm joined by my man Sandy from Happy Punch. How you doing, man?
All good, all good. How you doing, bro?
Oh, good, man. Like I said, we were talking before, and I was like, I'm happy that you managed to jump on, because this is probably an area that you're better at than me in terms of the boxing side of things. So it'll be great to get your views about all the hot topics in the crossover scene, the influence of boxing scene as well. But before we do get into anything, just need a quick shout out to our sponsor, D-Rock Clothing. As always, guys, if you want to support the channel, head over to their website, type in the promo code iBoxingHub24, get yourself 40% off site worldwide as well. But with that being said, Sandy, man, big week in influencer boxing. We've got the Misfits event coming up on the weekend, but we've had some big drama with Deen Thegreat as well. And I want to get your views on everything that's happened and where you lie with it and how Dean's gone about doing everything.
Well, to be honest, I think he's gone completely the wrong way about things. When it comes down to business and contracts, there's always the right way of doing things, and it's not by crossing the line. Do you know what I mean? Always stay in between your lines. Don't do anything out of line when contracts are involved. He obviously had his contracts with Misfits, and he went and done what he did with Aiden.
I was gonna say, like, he's done what he's did with Aiden, and then it kind of came out that, I believe, if I'm not wrong, he had his own show as well that he wanted to do as well, if that's right.
Yeah, he had his the street stuff that he did.
Yeah. So, like, with all that being said, like, even though he's the lightweight champion and everything, and we got the tournament coming up, do you see him fighting on Misfits going forward, or is it going to be one of them?
Oh yeah, 100%,
100%.
I still see him being a part of Misfits. I believe Mams has already said he is still Misfits at the end of the day. He's got a contract with Misfits. He's got a belt. So he is a Misfits fighter regardless at the end of the day.
How much damage do you think it's done to his rep going forward, and like within Misfits itself, like Mams and everyone trusting him, being able to, let's say for example he headlines a card, how much can they trust him now to be like, yo, you're gonna pull through with that instead of pulling out with an injury type of thing?
Yeah, see, that's what it comes down to now. It's rebuilding trust. That's all he can do now. Rebuild the bridges and try and gain that trust back from the right people like Mams and whoever else that was involved, the higher ups, of course. And that's it, really. That's all he can do, really, at this point.
And you know, like we touched on Aiden there, he's also got his like event on the same day. Like, I know competition is good, like in pro boxing or real boxing or whatever you want to call it. Look, you've got different promotions and stuff. But when you're doing the event on the same day as a Misfits event, how petty is this? Like, what's your view on Aiden trying to get into boxing and stuff like that as well?
I think it's a good thing. It's healthy at the end of the day to have competition in every avenue at the end of the day. If it succeeds, that's a bonus for everyone, because there's people that will probably cross over from his thing to Misfits or from Misfits to his thing down the road. Do you know what I mean? So it's always healthy to have competition. But I think the way you said, the pettiness of doing it on the same day, I'm going to see if I can get more views than you, etc. It's just like petty behavior. He's not going to get more views. Let's be real. Misfits is on DAZN. It's got an established platform. Do you know what I mean? It's not going anywhere anytime soon. Aiden's just started. He hasn't really got big names. He's only got these streamers that not everyone knows around the world. A lot of people around the world know the fight is on Misfits. So yeah, that's the difference, I think.
And do you know what else I'd say is that, you know, the quality of production that is significantly swings in favor of Misfits. Like you said, they've got a full army with DAZN and everything behind them. Compared to, don't get me wrong, Aiden's obviously got money. He can do it, but you realize what happens when it comes to staging a proper show versus Instagram live boxing events and stuff like that. Like, I think we saw one last week as well. And like,
Yeah,
look,
it was the EFC, I believe it was.
yeah,
That was a shambles. It was a
that's
shambles.
what I mean. Like, unless you've got a proper backing and a proper structure to it, it's going to be a shambles. And like you said, like, how much can it hit Aiden if this kind of stinks up?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's gonna be too bad for him. I think he will pull the number. He will still get views, regardless. At the end of the day, people want to see fights,
Yeah,
so he will still get some numbers. Um, at the moment, I don't see him actually a competition towards Misfit.
yeah.
Maybe down the road, once he's got proper production, proper licenses, proper venues and events and fighters and stuff like that, then maybe, yeah, down the road we could see a competition going through. But at the moment, nah, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I was gonna say it don't seem like it. Like you said, Misfits, they came in, they did get a criticism right at the start. And I want to talk to you about this a little bit as well, because I'm interested to hear your views since you're in that particular space in some way. Um, when influencer boxing kicked off, obviously right at the start we had KSI versus Joe Weller, then Logan came in, then Eddie Hearn, to his credit, took that fight and he was like, I'm gonna be behind it. And now obviously we got Misfits on DAZN. It got a lot of criticism right at the start, but I do feel now, even in the professional world, there's still criticism, but there's like a level of respected criticism, and especially with some of the boxers, but also the fans. I think a lot, me myself being a boxing fan as well, one thing I say is the guys at Misfits, the fans come out for them a lot more than you get at a traditional boxing event. And I'm interested to hear your view on what you think in terms of the respect value that these guys get now from the professional scene, but also
I,
the fans as well.
I would say it's 50-50 from the professional scene, that the Misfits, well, the influencer boxers, I would say,
Mm,
are getting. Um, because some of them enjoy it, some of them like it. They like to see the knockouts because you don't really see that much in boxing
yeah,
like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit
yeah,
fresh to the, oh, let's see someone get knocked out. So they enjoy watching it, some of them. Obviously, and then on the other hand, you do have the ones that shit on it and say, oh, they don't know what they're doing. It's dangerous, and all of that. They're not actual fighters. But yeah, it's 50-50, I think, on the professional side. With the fans, well, I think the fans love it, to be honest. The one thing I do think they don't like is where it's now getting confused, where it's a crossover slash influencer slash pros. Like, what is it? Do you know what I
mm,
mean? So everyone's getting confused now, where you've got MMA fighters fighting regular YouTubers or TikTokers, or do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So,
yeah. I get what
so
you mean. Yeah.
no one knows what to call it anymore. So it's stuck out on that crossover boxing now. So it's not even influencer boxing anymore. So yeah. So it's a bit of a tricky one. I think that's where the fans are a bit confused. That's the main thing for the fans, I think.
I'm going to ask you about one guy before we talk about the event coming up. Then, actually, there's two guys, but we'll leave one to one side, being Jake. I want to talk about Tommy Fury because you said about the crossover influencer
Yeah.
type of thing. His two biggest paychecks have come when he's obviously done the crossover influencer boxing scene, whatever you want to call it. When you look at him, where does he rank? Because he's been in like pound for pound rankings when it comes to Misfits and stuff like that. People have said he's an influencer pound for pound rankings. He's probably not looked at as somewhat of a valued asset in the professional scene. Like, if you were him, would you want to go back to the professional scene or would you want to stick it out here? What would you say about Tommy Fury and all of this?
Well, he's using his brain, I would say. He's looking at it. Look, if he went down the professional route straight away, he'd probably have a nice padded record,
Mm.
but not the money to go with it. So at the moment, he went and got the money from the fights that he has done with the influence stuff. And if he does choose to go down the pro route and pad his record up, he he's sitting there with a load of money at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
That's true,
Like,
yeah.
just so yeah. So I think it's a tricky one, isn't it? What he might do. Yeah, I don't think he should fight influencers uh as such, not especially not low level ones.
Mm.
But whereas the people like MMA fighters and things, yeah, Why not have a crossover fight with someone? That's not an issue. You never know, this Dubai or someone might host it.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I hear that. But let's go on to this weekend, the Misfits 13 in Nashville, headlined by Fox the G versus Most Evil Tag Team. Talk to me about Fox and the fact that he goes from fighting against Spartan at Leeds to now headlining in Nashville.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me about this guy, because I look at him, like, no offense, skinny guy, don't expect to be doing what he's doing, and he got that knockout that
Listen,
in Leeds.
I'm telling you, do not underestimate Fox. He is good, man. He is a good fighter. Like you said, people look at him, they see him as a skinny person. Probably seen his YouTube videos from when he was younger. Now, mate, he's a different person now. He's a fully grown man. We saw what happened, unfortunately, to Jay. Jay's a good person at the end of the day. He's a really strong fighter as well. So for Fox to be able to do that says a lot. So I think a lot of people still underestimate him and think that it was just a lucky shot. So that's what I think. People are underestimating what he can do, and I think he will show it. He will show it this 23rd.
So, like, talk to me about that though, because obviously it's his second fight, I believe, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Like, main eventing a show like that, what does that prove to the guys at Misfits and Mums and stuff like that? Do they already see him as a potential star in your eyes then?
Well, I think you got to see it this way. Think about it. When he was younger, he was doing the stuff for Misfits anyway. Mams brought him on. He obviously saw there was some sort of star in the making. Do you know what I mean? So he's been given that platform to become a star, and the way he's gone about it is exceeded their expectations, especially with that knockout. They didn't expect that. They thought he'd just have a good fight, a win, and that's it, maybe. Do you know what I mean? But he went above and beyond with that knockout. So I think he is a big star in the making. Obviously, if he wins this fight, which I think personally he will, if he wins this fight coming up against Most Evil, Most Wanted, and Evil Hero, you will see a lot more of him, especially headlining, I think.
I was gonna say that because it's 2-on-1. Obviously, I remember we saw JJ fight 2 fighters in one night type of thing as well. Like, some people would say that it's a bit too silly in terms of boxing, but it is Misfits. It's meant to be silly as much as it's meant to be good. Like, how do you see this fight particularly going? You said that you expect Fox to win, but how do you see it going in terms of breaking down?
Well, when it comes down to it, I do see Most Wanted putting up a lot of fight. I think people underestimate him as well because of his last fight. Obviously, unfortunately, he was up against someone that was as tough as Joey Knight. I think Joey Knight will beat a lot of people on that division. That's why he's in the tournament. Let's not get it wrong. And that was Most's first fight. So I think people are underestimating him also. I think he's going to be the one to put up the fight against Fox. But I think the minute they do tag out and Evil Hero gets in that ring, I think Fox is going to be a bit too much for him to handle. And that's what's going to do the job.
I hear that because I'm with you on that as well. But you mentioned one guy just beforehand, and that's Joey Knight and the lightweight tournament. For me, going into it, even though he's only had one fight on the Misfits card, he's my favorite to win the tournament. I believe he's also got a background in boxing previous to this as well. And I spoke to him after his first fight, and he was like, "Look, everything went to plan. It was quite straightforward for me. I didn't really struggle," type of thing. Talk to me about this tournament itself. Like, some of the guys in this tournament we may not necessarily have heard of that you think, yeah, that's going to put a shock. Obviously, we know Waleed from fighting Deen on the Prime card, and before that, for me, Ace Moose is somebody that I look at. I'm like, he's got a background previously. He can do some damage. But for me, the favorite in this tournament is Joey Knight. Talk to me about the tournament and what you think it can do for Misfits.
Well, the tournament is just another thing. Like you said, they like to do the entertainment side of things. So having a tournament just puts that extra wow factor on things, I believe. And where Deen is injured at the moment, they needed a way to figure out, right, who's going to be next to fight him. So this was the best way to do it. With the people they've put in the tournament, we've got a lot of new faces, I believe. Like you said, we've got Baby Hulk. he's a new person that's come from, I believe, Street Beefs or something like that. Lil Cray Cray as well. He's also someone that's come from there. They both have background in fighting already, so it's going to be interesting to see that one. Who else is there? We've got that Tasmanian Devil guy.
Yeah, so
I've never heard of this guy.
that's what I mean. I was saying, I've never heard of some of these guys, so they could be like the upset cards that they just pop up and you're like, yo, where'd you come from?
Exactly. This is it. So we've got the Tasmanian Devil and the Argentinian King. So these two, I won't lie to you, I didn't know who they were until I saw them put on Misfits. But you never know. Like you say, they might pull an upset and do something crazy. Apparently the Tasmanian guy's got some background in boxing. That's all I know, really. Argentinian guy, I don't really know about him too much, and that's it.
Who's your favorite then?
Well, see, as you said, Joey Knight is a good one to win. I think he is going to go far. I think he will be. See, it's a tricky one. I see a couple of them get into like semi-final. This depends who's fighting who. At the end of the day, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the bracket.
Yeah, it depends who fights who after, because we know at the moment we've got Yadi fighting Cray, and we've got Joey Knight fighting as well. So
Baby Hulk, yeah, he's fighting Baby Hulk.
See, with Lil Cray and Yadi, depends who wins on that. I see them going to the finals.
Okay, I hear it. And just in general, the card itself, obviously, we've had a card in Leeds, we've had a card in Nashville now. Looking forward, do you expect to have the next card in the UK and stuff like that, and where would you expect Misfits to probably decide to throw it in?
I hope it's in the UK.
Yeah, I want to go back, man.
I hope it's in the UK because it saves me a lot of money. I wouldn't have to travel anywhere far. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I'm missing this one. So hopefully the next one's in the UK. Yeah, man.
And like, in terms of, we got to talk about him, KSI.
Yeah.
When do you expect him to come back into boxing? Because when it happens, do you think we get the fight against Slim? Because I don't know if you recall, after the event ended in Leeds, I don't know if you were around. Slim was going around speaking to whoever wanted it. He had the poster. He was handing them out. He was like, make this fight happen. Make this fight happen. You guys, the media, make it happen type of thing. So do you think we get KSI versus Slim at the next card or sometime this year?
I don't know, to be honest. That's a tricky one. I don't believe Slim will be getting KSI straight away next. I believe he's going to have another fight or two before KSI is even put in the same hat as Slim. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, no, I don't see it happening, to be honest, for his next fight. But with KSI, I don't know. At the moment, as we see online, he's enjoying life. He's put on a little belly now. He's not.
Yeah,
he's not ripped anymore. He's enjoying life. So I don't know. Hopefully, he comes back this year. If not, he's still going to be sticking around doing Misfit stuff regardless. So yeah, it'll be good to see him back in the ring though.
And then we got to talk about the other guy as well. Someone who's he's trying to move away potentially from like that influence and just seen directly as a pro boxer, being Jake Paul, fighting Mike Tyson on Netflix. Talk to me about Jake and like what about him going forward. Like, what do you think about him taking the route he is and then also fighting Mike Tyson?
Look, I'll be real. Jake's obviously doing a lot on his side of things. Do you know what I mean? Going down the pro route. I do think a lot of his fights are planned properly. They're strategic fights. Do you know what I mean? So he knows what he's doing when he picks his opponents, kind of thing. So it's like padding your record, but padding it up with gold. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like making it look nice with the names that he's fighting, and things like that. But obviously, when it comes to their skills in the ring, it's a complete different story because they're not really boxers, are they? And when he does fight,
This is the thing, right?
when he does fight real boxers, he's
Well, we're
going
fighting Mike
for.
now. I am
No,
Mike
but that's the
Tyson.
thing. So when he did go for real boxers, he had the fight with Tommy. Some would say Tommy's a real boxer. Do you know what I mean? So we saw what happened there. He obviously lost.
Yeah.
And then he went down the route of, right, I'm going to go down the pro route and fight actual boxers. And he done exactly what a pro fighter would do. He fought boxers to pad up his record.
Yeah.
And they're not exactly going to be knockout artists that he's fighting. And that's what we saw with the August guy, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Was it Andre
Just
August?
the last fight, yeah.
And the last fight he had also was against that Uber driver that just probably gave up. Do you know what I mean? He
Get the
probably
bag,
had
get
to
the
go.
money.
Yeah, mate, he
yeah,
probably had
14
to go.
years.
Yeah, he probably had to go pick someone up, mate. Do you know what I mean? So, like, that was it. But yeah, no, he's doing what he has to do at the end of the day. It's good to see because it is inspiring loads of people over in America, all the young ones, etc., that do look up to him in that sense. Like, get in the gym, don't do any silly stuff, kind of thing. But I still think he's an idiot, personally. Like, you're going against Mike as well now. Like, that's a legend. It's upsetting to see. Do you know what I mean? It's upsetting to see because.
Do you think he knocks him out?
No, personally, I don't think he knocks him out.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be a padded fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're
Right.
not gonna
Like
try.
against Anderson Silva. No, was it Diaz?
Well, no, I don't think they're gonna try hurt each other too much.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? I think there's a thing where, right, we're gonna show respect to each other where we're not gonna actually try and kill each other in the ring. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're actually they're gonna box. They're gonna show their skills to each other, kind of thing. It's gonna be like a dance in the ring. It's not gonna be a fight. That's what I think. Yeah, that's it really, and especially the fact that it's on Netflix, and that's a whole nother thing. I never expected Netflix to pull that one out of the bag.
Nah. I don't know if you've seen it, but Netflix are going into their sport bag. They've got the WWE next year, like properly set up live, so they're getting into their sport bag. So I'm going to ask you this quickly before we wrap up. Then, if you had to pick between KSI versus Slim or KSI versus Jake, what fight would you prefer to have in 2024?
KSI versus Jake any day. Everyone wants that fight.
Do you think we get it? Do you think we will eventually get that fight? I think Slim's possible, but do you think we'll get KSI versus Jake?
At this point, right now, no.
Okay.
I don't see it happening right now at this point. Down the line, you never know. The doors are still open, I think, for that to actually happen down the line. They're still doing what they need to do in their careers. Jake's obviously doing his stuff with his boxing, moving up with Amanda Serrano and all that stuff, moving those lot up, building their names up. Obviously, KSI is doing his thing with Misfits, building all these people, influencers' names up with the boxing. He's also bringing in pro boxers, MMA fighters into that by the likes of like Idris, Virgo, and then you've got AT that's come over from the MMA background and that. So yeah, I think they've got loads of things that they're still doing and still got for them. So if it doesn't happen this year, it's not a bad thing. But hopefully we do see it before they become old men. We don't want to see them the age of Mike, both in the ring fighting each other. Do you know what I mean? Like we don't need to see that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, hopefully we do see it at some point.
And just quickly then, if you had to describe the event we're going to get this weekend, like if you had to summarize it for everybody who's probably watching this and thinks, yeah, let me go have a look at the Misfits card, how would you summarize it?
It's going to be exciting, man. Trust me, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be it's going to be a good one, an exciting one.
Nah, I hear that, man. I'll be probably watching as well, and I've seen, if I'm not wrong, more Deens on the card as well.
Yeah.
that in itself, man, like just having more Deen on there, some craziness is gonna happen. But with that, we're gonna wrap up today's episode of the crossover. As always, guys, if you enjoy the content we're hearing here, drop a like, share, subscribe. As always, as we mentioned at the top of the show, head up to our sponsor DRAT Clothing, type in the promo code iBoxingHub24, get yourself 40% off. Sandy, appreciate you, man, for jumping on, man.
No worries, man. Thank you for having me on, bro.
Until next time, guys, love and peace.